Hi everyone, welcome back to Unfiltered Chapters. I received multiple requests to make a video on the aptitude rounds. So this is it. I've personally given multiple rounds and my friends also sat for roles like consulting, HR and finance. I consulted them and then I have curated this entire video. So let's quickly jump to what we'll be covering in this video. First, I'll be telling you the key things that you need to focus before starting your preparation. Trust me, I'm not wasting your time. We did go through these problems, we did have these misconceptions in our mind, and we suffered because of them. So, just turn the video on 2x and just quickly go through them because they will be helpful for you. First thing. Second, I'll be talking about the general pattern that I have observed. Okay, and after that, I'll be one by one diving deep into the sections of the pattern that we have observed in the rounds so far, and we'll be sharing that what type of questions we usually see and how you can prepare for them. So this is the agenda for this particular video. I'll be making part 2 as well. Now in part 2 I'll be talking about few unique addition to the general aptitude round which I observed for few companies. This will be one thing. Second will be I'll be sharing the resources or the YouTube links or the channels that you can visit to ace your preparation. And third, my friends and I sat down and we could recall a number of questions that we solved as part of our recruitment process. So we'll be sharing those questions as well with you. So do check part 2 as well. I'll let you know as soon as it will be uploaded. So let's start with the key things that you need to take care before starting your preparation. The first thing is, before starting your preparation, open your job description, read what's the role, read for which company you're giving the aptitude round, go on Google, type for this company, for this particular role, what has been the general pattern for the aptitude rounds, right? Then on Quora, on Glassdoor, on YouTube, you will see somebody sharing their experience and they'll tell you that are you getting job specific questions as well. Because few technical companies, like few technical profiles and few consulting profiles as well, like few companies include a dedicated section related to the job description. For example, if it is a finance job, so finance based section. If it is consulting job, so consulting based question. If it is a technical profile, then coding based question, right? So you can see that as well. So for that, this is a first step that you need to do, that read around 4 to 5 experiences of the people who have already interviewed for this particular profile. This will be really helpful for you. Now talking about this video, I don't have a technical background, I have a consulting background. So I'll be just talking about the general pattern that you usually see in all the aptitude rounds. Fine. Now let's talk about the second thing. What I had in my mind when I began my journey, that aptitude is the easiest round in the entire process that we sit for. Yes, it is. I won't disagree. But we need to keep in our mind, hundreds of thousands of people with such zeal, such enthusiasm are sitting for the same round and are trying to ace it, right? So how we all can get an edges by practicing and by strategizing. So don't be very careless with the aptitude round because this is the first step. And I might agree that it is relatively easier, but in absolute terms you're competing with a very large group. So you need to be a step ahead to actually ace it. So this is the second thing, that strategize and practice before actually giving the first round of your interview process. Now second is, it's not about perfection. You don't have to follow all the steps while you're solutionizing. You don't have to ensure you're writing very nice and nobody is going to check your solutions, nobody is going to check your rough work. You need to see that how you get on the live question as soon as possible. Please keep this in mind. Then fourth is that you need to be confident. You cannot demoralize yourself while getting the aptitude round. You want to be underconfident, you're afraid because we are humans, this might happen. Be as underconfident you want to after you have completed the entire thing, then stress and panic. Actually you shouldn't. So just take this lightly. What I'm trying to say is, while you're solving, for example, your assessment has around 50 questions, right? You don't get the first question, you don't get the second question, you don't get the third question. At this point, you need to tell yourself, fine, there are 47 questions more, I'll solve them. I'll get them right. Why? Because at this point, if you lose your confidence, if you become dull, then even if a question will be as easy as like 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, you think 5 times that is just the right question. Am I capable to solve this? You need to keep your confidence high. Think like this, that other also might not be getting all the questions, right? You need to keep your confidence high. You need to think highly of yourself because confidence matters a lot, right? You need to use your presence of mind and you need to keep your spirits really high, at least until you finish all the sets of questions. Okay. Then last thing is that I want to say, people, because logical, like, okay, so the last thing that I want to say is, people think that English doesn't matter, but I don't agree entirely, because a considerable section is dedicated to English and it takes time. Reading comprehensions takes time. So don't be like, don't ignore English entirely, because I've seen people losing the entire round because they did hopelessly in English, right? So don't take that very lightly. You need to give some time to English as well. So these are the few things and few mistakes which I have done in the past and I regret it. So all my learnings are for you to learn from them and ensure that you don't repeat the same thing. Now, okay, the material things. Now I'll be talking about the pattern that I have mostly observed in various companies and in various assessments. So broadly, you will have a logical reasoning section, right? Secondly, you'll see a data interpretation section. DI is hard. Like if you're sitting for a higher package, you can expect intermediate level DI questions, because I have heard people talking about that they mostly get stuck in DI, right? So prepare DI really well. Then is English for sure. Now I'll be talking about what I observe into these particular sections. Logical reasoning is one of the most important sections because there are so many things that you can practice in this, and there are so many things on which they can make the questions. What questions I have mostly noticed? One is the seating arrangement thing. I saw multiple questions in Disha and company itself, like the circular seating arrangement, linear seating arrangement. So they will give you the seating arrangement, there will be multiple questions associated with it. For example, A, B, C, D, E, F are sitting in this circular way. A is front of D, B is in front of F. Okay, a very rough example, it's not a proper structured question, mind you. And then there will be around 5 questions that, okay, now tell me who's sitting beside A, who's sitting in front of C. So this is how it happens. How I usually solve them, I first draw that seating arrangement, because then it just takes seconds to answer all the questions. Second, what I've noticed, direction sense, that if we moved 200 meter in north, then 300 meter in west, south, east, and then you need to decide that in which direction that person is right now, right? Also, there might be 2 people as well who are moving from point A and B in various direction, and now they'll ask you, now tell me from, like, for example, those 2 persons were X and Y. So in which direction person Y is standing with respect to person X. So these type of questions also you can see, so practice them as well. Then of course those puzzle and series based questions, for example those dot patterns, how to solve them. You will have 3 boxes and you'll figure out the 4th one, line patterns, number patterns. So you can expect these questions as well. Okay, so these are the questions. Now how I'll advise you to prepare for them is, bare minimum is at least dedicate 4 to 5 hours to logical reasoning. Why? Of course you cannot cover the entire syllabus, but you need to practice. You need to train your brain in such a way that you need to quickly think. One key thing that you need to keep in your mind while you're preparing for logical reasoning, just don't see the videos, just don't observe the people solving the questions, because then your brain gets developed in such a way that the person in front of you will tell you step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well, right? It doesn't think, it doesn't initiate that thing. So pause the videos, try solving those questions, see 1 or 2 questions being solved, but then try to solve similar patterns of the questions. Until you will not do it by your own hands, it will not get in your brain. So this is one thing while you're preparing, actually solve questions and dedicate around 4 to 5 hours to solve different kinds of questions of logical reasoning. You'll get good playlists on YouTube, just go through them or go through those one shot video. So yes, now spend 1 to 2 minutes structuring the questions. You might not get all the questions while you are actually giving the test, so just be very quick and solve those questions which you can easily handle, right? Then don't panic, don't rush, because in panic we make the silliest mistakes, right? And overconfidence is also not good, because you might think that is the right answer, but it's always good to just check it once again. So these are few things: structured first, answer later, and once you answer it, just quickly recheck it. It's very important. So this is all regarding the logical reasoning section. Let's move to data interpretation. So now here I could see bar graphs, I could see pie charts. Now one of the profile that I interviewed for, so of course it was finance related, so I could see those profit and cost graphs of a few companies, and I need to figure out which one is doing better than the other, and so on. So you might also get such questions. Then pie chart as well, that this person is with this person, this person is with this person, now tell how much percentage they have. So you can see such questions, such patterns. And in DI also, what I observed, they give the graph and then you have around 4 to 5 questions based on that particular graph. Now how I solve DI is, I just glance at the questions, like I understand. Of course, I cannot mug up them, but I understand that question 2 is related to profit, question 3 is related to cost. So when I'll be like solving the entire graph now, so I just focus on these particular areas. I don't want to invest my time like figuring out something which is not even being asked, right? So this is one thing that you also need to keep in your mind, that you first get an idea that what are they asking from those particular charts and graphs that they are providing you with. So yes, they test your speed, they test your decision making skills and how quickly you are taking the decision, whether it is right or not. And yes, in DI also it might happen that out of 5 you're just getting 3 questions, out of 5 you're just getting 4 questions, and it is fine. It happens. It did happen with me as well. Don't just get stuck on that one particular graph. Just go and check the other graph as well. What if it's very easy, relatively easier than the previous one, right? So don't get stuck anywhere. Just solve anything for 1 or 2 minutes and then just move on. Because if later you will have time, you can come back to that question. But what if you just got stuck on that one question, then you are not able to solve that as well, and you miss those easy questions as well, right, which are there ahead in the test that you are giving. So don't make such mistakes. Having said this, one thing that you need to take care of is first check that if you move to the next question, can you trace back to the previous question or not, because they have now these systems that you cannot go back to the previously answered question. Because in one of my tests I went on skipping 3 questions and then I realized that now I cannot open them again. So don't do this mistake, right? So yes, these were the patterns I could see in DI. Now coming to English, the silent eliminator, that's what I call it, because it is an underrated subject, but it can have a huge impact, I believe, because RCs are not, I mean reading comprehensions are not that easy, right? You need to kind of have that speed while you're reading the comprehension, that speed of understanding the pattern, deriving the meaning of the words, etc. Now how I solve reading comprehensions, I first again glance at the questions, and for example I know that okay, if this one flower word is coming or something is being asked later, so I'll just underline that one thing in my paper, or kind of just I'll take care that okay, 4th line or 5th line I have that, right? I just make a mental placeholder that I need to look back at this particular section in the entire comprehension when I go to that question, right? I wish I'm making sense. So yes, just glance at the question, get the keywords, search for those keywords in the comprehension, focus more on those particular sections where those particular keywords are appearing, because you know the questions are based on these keywords only. After that, for RC, I will suggest you to at least solve 5 to 6 reading comprehensions, like foundation, base to intermediate level, because they are not that easy. Like deciding the header in RC, what I have observed, I'm always stuck between whether it is option B or option A. It's very hard for me to decide on one single answer for the out of those 4 options which are given. I'm always confused between 2. So that can be solved if you actually prepare or solve few reading comprehensions before actually sitting for your final test. Okay, so this is all regarding RC. Then yeah, in reading comprehension I did see questions like, what do you think is a theme, what title you can give it, what do you think this word was indicating here. So these questions you can see. Then there were a few questions on that in this particular sentence the underlined word has been used in the correct way or not. This can come up. Then grammar corrections, that those is have, having, said that, like you need to just see the helping verb and fix that. There were a few active passive voices question as well, direct and indirect voice question as well. Now one thing that I noticed, there were some collective noun questions as well. For example, the colony of ants, bouquet of flowers. So just go through a list of these collective nouns as well. Don't spend much time, because it depends on your luck. It's not possible that out of the 50 that you might mug up, you'll get 1 or 2 from that list, right? And collective noun questions were just 1 or 2 as much as I noticed. So don't spend much time here, but yes, you can expect these questions as well. If you have extra time to prepare them. So yes, I've already shared my strategy as well for English as well. So if I just sum up everything, first of all, practice. Like if your aptitude round is after 4 days, then dedicate these 4 days, 4 hours per day to practice all these sections and actually solve the question. For RC as well, don't just see how the person is solving the question, actually solve them. Also, you see many videos like that, they'll be telling you how to strategize. End of the day, go through all the strategies, it's good, but make your own strategy, right? One strategy never fits for everybody, and that might be very personal for them. So make your own strategy, this will be very helpful for you. Secondly, be calm, be patient, be confident, use your presence of mind, and you'll be easily able to crack the entire application. So yes, like this is the crux of the entire video. So I'll be making another video, and I've already talked about the topics that I'll be covering, so do check that out as well. And if there's anything in particular you want me to cover, then drop it in the comment section. This time I'll be very consistent with my videos. Like this is what I have decided for this month at least. I was a bit occupied with work lately, so I could not focus on this. And secondly, if you're actually finding my videos helpful, please invest a few minutes and drop a small comment section. Share your views, share your insights, like it, subscribe it, because that do motivates me a lot to shoot more and more videos for you. One last thing before I wrap this video up, I saw people have mailed me with a few queries related to the DShaw interview process. I will get back to you very soon, don't worry. Within a day or 2 you can expect a reply. Also, if you have any queries, you can mail me at anshikabhat0415@gmail.com. Okay, so that's all for this video. All the very best for all your upcoming rounds, and I wish you give your best and get selected in your dream company. Thank you so much.